over the hills and fall for mud. She's waiting for love to be realized.
Hi paper crafters, this is Collette. There's nothing like a bouquet of flowers to brighten one's day, and today I want to show you how I make them out of paper. I've chosen to use the beautiful high tea papers from Kaisercraft. They are delicately distressed papers with beautifully illustrated roses, which are just perfect for my bouquet. There's a lovely soft whitewashed colour palette that really capture that beauty of friendship, and the sayings and sentiments with this collection are just absolutely perfect, all based on friendship. So let me show you how I've made them. So first up, we're going to create the box. Now I have here a 12 by 12 inch piece of Kaisercraft cardstock in Steele, and I'm going to pop that onto my scoreboard, and I need to score it. Now with Kaisercraft cardstock, and in fact most cardstocks, you'll have one side which is lovely and weaved and kind of textured, the other side is much flatter. You need to decide which side you want showing. I want the weaved textured side showing, so that's going to be facing up, and it is important to get the sides right. So just to recap here, the side I am going to have showing on my box is facing me up. I need to score this, so just into my soap, so it's going to glide nicely at 4 inches and 8 inches. I'm going to rotate that, and I'm going to do exactly the same, 4 inches and 8 inches. Excellent. So the next thing we're going to do is we're actually going to do some diagonal folds, but I want to do the diagonal folds across the whole length of the page, which is a bit hard on the scoreboard. But before I do that, I'm just going to fold these ones. So people often ask, you know, which way should you fold? So when you're actually scoring, you're making a dent. You're breaking the fibers. That will enable the actual bending to happen more easily without the chance of it creasing. So you always fold towards the bump. So this is the bump. That's the way I want to fold. It's folding towards the bump. And on the other side, so I'm going to fold in all those score lines. Now you've seen me make lots of boxes on my videos, but this time I need a really strong box, and because I need it to carry the weight of my flower, so I'm going to use all the paper. I'm not going to cut any of it out. So now I've folded those. I'm now going to flip it over so I have that right side facing me, the same side that I scored previously, so the right side is facing me. So what I'm going to do here now is my diagonal fold. So I'm simply going to take it, match up the corners. So match up the corner and walk back. Okay. And I'm going to do the same now on the other diagonal side. So match up the corner. Okay. Walk back. And fold. Okay. So now, this is the inside of my box facing me. You can see that some of the folds go backwards, some go forward. That's because of the way I folded it, and it makes creating our box so much easier. So the next thing we want to do is we're going to apply some adhesive and close up this box. And what we're going to do is I'm just going to put a cross here, 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 and here. These are the triangles I want to apply some adhesive, and then on the back of the same triangles, so there's one here, one here, one here, so exactly the same cross on the back of that, I also need to apply adhesive. Alright, so we need to make sure that we're doing this properly. I'm not a big fan of wet glue. I seem to make such a mess with it all the time. So I'm going to be using some of Kaisercraft's double-sided tape here. It's nice and strong. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to get fairly close to these edges and I'm going to pop this tape down. I'm going to be generous with my tape. And I'm going to go quite close to the edges. And the last one. So I'm not on the crease, I'm going quite close to that crease. Okay, so that's what I want on all of those crosses on the front and also on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and do that, and I'll be back in just a jiffy. So you can see here the glue is on all those triangles, and on the same triangles behind I have also got the tape down. So that's great. Now before we start to fold this up, I need to reinforce the center to give that extra strength as well. And what I need to do is to cut out a square to sit on here. Now I know that square there is going to be 4 inches by 4 inches, but I want it just a little bit shorter. So what I'm going to do is cut a square in that same steel cardstock, and I'm going to put an extra piece of card underneath it. This is just some of the waste card or the packaging from some of the Kaisercraft packs. So I'm going to cut it just slightly smaller. So I'm going to cut it so it is 3 7/8 of an inch should be perfectly fine. And I'm always a bit lazy. If I can cut 2 pieces together, I will. But if you're not confident doing that, by all means just cut them individually. And then once I've done that, I can then stick these in place. So just going to be using my Kaisercraft glue gun for this. So popping my piece of packaging in place, making sure it all goes inside those fold lines so it's not going to get in the way, and popping in my center section, and that should sit right on top. Okay, perfect. So that's going to make that center section really strong now. So now what we're going to do is fold them up, and all we're going to do is take one triangle at a time, remove the double-sided tape, the backing paper, and I'm going to remove it on both sides, so that side and the side behind. Okay, and then what I'm going to do is, you'll see how this naturally falls inwards. I'm going to bring that in, and I'm just going to take my time. I'm going to feel the top, and then when I'm comfortable, I will press that in place. And then I'm going to take this outer one and push that back. And again, this time, I'm just going to take my time and feel that there. So once I've done that with my bone folder, I'm just going to burnish it to make sure we get a really nice, strong bond. So that's one of my corners done, and it's got this extra reinforcement or strength here with that triangle. So I'll just do one more quickly. So taking the backing away on both sides. Oops, look, I've missed a bit of double-sided tape here. I need to quickly whiz that on there. It's a bit slapdash of me. Okay, so just removing this backing tape. Alright, so exactly the same now. So we're just folding it always to the left, so over to the left. So the top, just taking our time, getting that into position so it's all nice and straight. Okay, and then I'm going to fold this bit here against the side of this box. So just take your time with it, making sure you get a nice good fold. And then once you're happy with that, you then burnish it down. Okay, so So you can see our box is now starting to fold, and you're going to do exactly the same with these other ones. So always folding into the left and left. So once I've done that, the box will be done. And when you look inside, you'll see those little triangles all in that same direction. A bit hard to show here, but that will give it extra strength. So I'm just going to fold these two together. So my box is all done and finished, and just as a final pass, really get in there with your scoring blade and really get into those corners and make sure it's burnished really well. And that now is a really strong little box that's going to hold my bouquet of flowers beautifully. So once we've got to that stage, you can then go ahead and decorate it. So as I've mentioned before, I have decorated mine with the high tea collection, and the box, I chose papers basically from the 6.5 inch paper pad, and there's such a beautiful collection in here that you can use, as well as having all these lovely sentiments that you can actually cut out and use too. So let's have a little look. Okay, so here we are. So basically I covered each section with a piece of paper. Each paper is a little bit different. And then I decided to use one of the sticker sheets, and this is a little tip here. So the sticker sheet had this absolutely gorgeous lace on it. So I decided that I would use that, but I only wanted to have part of it showing because I liked this ripple effect on the top, but it's a sticker. So I needed to remove the stickiness, and to do that, all you do is you grab yourself some talcum powder and a little brush, and you just basically talc the back of this. And what this does, it just takes away all the sticky. So that then enabled me to use this. You see now that's no longer sticky at all. And I could actually have that going above the top of my box quite happily without it being sticky on the back. So talcum powder, many, many uses. Okay, so it also gets everywhere. Smells nice though. All right, so also then on my box I used the Collectables, which, you know, gosh, they are so pretty. And in this collection, the roses are lovely, lovely. And gee, you know, I love macarons, absolutely love macarons. So these are just some of the beautiful collections or collectibles that you can choose from that come with this beautiful story. So have fun, pop some up, give them a bit of dimension, go over the edges as well, go outside the box a little bit. That's always quite nice to do. The other little thing that I did is I took off one of the end pieces, as you probably know already with Kaisercraft. Which one was it? Yeah, it was this one. This was the sheet that I used, which was called Cup and Saucer, and you can see on the back it had this really pretty little pink lacy bit going along the bottom. So I chopped that off, and I decided just to run that along the bottom of my box, and I just continued to wrap that all the way round. I did the same obviously with the top sticker. I wrapped it all the way round, and then the last thing, I just absolutely adore this little bow. It's so cute, and that little bow is one of the dies from Kaisercraft, and it is this one here, and you get two different options of bows that you can actually tie, and it is such a pretty little die. And I love these Kaisercraft pockets for keeping my dies in and storing them, so I love, they're quite handy as well. So that really is my box. I'm now going to move on to my pinwheel flowers and show you how to make those. So for the pinwheels, I've used some of the full-size sheets of the high tea collection papers, and you can see they're just perfect for these bouquet boxes. You need the full sheets because you need the length rather than having to keep sticking little strips together. So what I do is I will take a piece of paper. So this is called Devonshire. You know, in England they have those beautiful Devonshire teas with scones and cream, very nice. And what we're going to do is I just take the whole piece. And actually this is not cut straight, so I'm just going to cut this quickly. I've obviously used this elsewhere. I can see it's not cut straight. Yep, it's just slightly off. Alright. And what I've done is I cut off a chunk of it, and I'm going to go ahead and score this. And I'm scoring it at 1/4 inch intervals, so all the way down at 1/4 inch intervals. Okay, so basically at the 1/4 inch mark. Okay, just moving that down so you can see a little bit clearly. So each of the 1/4 inch ones going all the way down. So you do that nice and quickly all the way through. Okay, so I've scored this piece now at 1/4 inch intervals all the way across the paper. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to punch an edge. Now you don't have to punch an edge if you don't have a border punch. Just to show you, you can actually combine them. So this one here has got a little fancy border edge punch on it. And in the center, this one hasn't. So they look very pretty either way. Here is a little one made up with two that don't have the borders punched. So you can mix and match them, or you can do one whole bouquet one way or the other way. So I usually always start off my border punches in the middle, just going across, matching up the design and carrying on until I get this whole lot done. So I've gone ahead now and I've actually finished punching out my border, and what I now need to do is to cut it. Now I really recommend you don't do anything over than 1 3/4 of an inch. Remember, your pinwheel is actually going to be twice that by the time it's all folded and made into a circle. You can of course do them bigger. You just join more paper together. For example, this is an absolutely gorgeous one that I made. It's really good fun. This is with the beautiful Indigo collection from Kaisercraft, and here all I did is I cut some paper and covered a straw. So that's what's connecting this one together. So you can certainly make them bigger, but you need to have longer lengths of paper. So for the bouquet, I basically stuck to anything under 1 3/4. So I'm just going to cut this one at 1 3/4 inches. And I'm going to start to fold that. So you basically do them different. So maybe do one at 1 inch, one at 1 1/4 inches. It doesn't really matter. But don't go over the 1 3/4, otherwise you'll find the pinwheel is going to be really hard to fold. Really, it needs more paper. Once we've done that, we're now going to do a concertina fold. So basically, that very first little fold, that very first one, we want to chop that away. We don't want that one. So we're going to chop him off. Okay, so he's now gone. So it doesn't matter which way you start, really doesn't matter. You're going to go one way, one the other. Okay, and then you're just going to keep folding until you actually have the whole lot folded. One way, one the other. So you can see you're getting a little fold. One way, one the other. Okay, so that's the little pinwheel all concertinaed. And now what I need to do is join it. So you'll notice that on one of the ends, it's going to slip over the other one. So I need to put a bit of double-sided tape on this side here. And definitely double-sided tape is good for this, because it's nice and strong. Okay, so you have this piece, and this is going to go over the top of that, and then we're just going to close that up. So you can see that concertina here continues to happen. So So you'd never even know that they're joined. So my circle is all joined here. The next thing is to create a little circle that I'm going to fussy cut from this beautiful paper which is called Tea Leaves. So that would be quite pretty, whereas that would be a bit boring. So I want to get a cluster of flowers, which would be nice because you do see these from the back. So I've got that, and what is good, and a good little tip here, is just roughly eyeball the centre. Near enough is good enough, and I'll tell you why you need that in a second. And you're going to use a hot glue gun. Hot glue gun, I reckon, is best for these pinwheels. They grab really quickly and it dries quickly, so you can move on. You don't have to be sitting there for like 5 minutes with your finger on it. Making sure the border edged punch is on the bottom, just place that over the top, and what you want to do, you want to collapse it. So you want to collapse it, and then keeping an eye where that red mark is, I can just about see it, I'm going to close it up. So by collapsing it, what I was doing, I was actually pushing it down and out in the middle. And this now little pinwheel will literally just take about, I don't know, 30 seconds, and it will be ready for me to let go. So it'll be dry now. So that's the beauty of using your hot glue gun. Seriously, if you're using any other glue, you'd be taking quite some time to get those to stick. So that's that done. I'm now going to go ahead and make another little one that I'm going to sit in the center. So this is my smaller one. I've cut this one to about 3/4 of an inch, and I haven't bothered to punch the edge. Got my little dot here in the circle. Down with the hot glue gun, swishing it all over it, and just going to pop this on top and collapse it down so I can see the little red dot, and I aim to get that in the middle, and then just holding that in place. Okay, so now all I need to do to join these up is pop a little bit of hot glue here in the middle, pop that down on top. Now I've chosen to decorate the center of these with the Kaisercraft pearl brads, which I love very much, and what I've done is I've just popped these out, and with an old pair of scissors I'm just going to take away the prongs, and then I'm just going to push it down on the table so it sits nice and straight. That's good. And then I'm just going to put a bit of hot glue here in the middle, and I'm going to sit my pearl on top. Okay, so that's the actual beautiful pinwheel. It looks so pretty. And then to finish that off, all I need to do is to grab a skewer. So this is one of the bamboo skewers that, you know, we have the beautiful chicken sattés and things like that on. And again, just going to, on the end of this skewer, put a little bit of hot glue gun. Not too much, because you don't want loads of it sticking out. And then on the back of the flower, you're just going to sit that hot glue in the center. And you can see that's grabbed already. And that's now ready to actually go into my bouquet. Now the center, I said I used the pearls. I've got here a couple that I've made with a collection. These probably a year or so ago, but these are still like available, the little wooden bits. So here I've got hearts in the middle, and I just spritz those with the Kaiser mists, and they look really pretty. So you can choose to put lots of different things in the centers of your flowers. So once that's been done, I just get a little bit of ribbon, and I tie that ribbon around, just to kind of emulate leaves and to add a little bit of softness to my beautiful flowers. And then I start to assemble my bouquet. So for my bouquet box, I'm going to need to buy some dry floral foam, and you'll get this very often from this one was from Lincraft, Spotlight, any of the craft stores or the flower shops. Often in the $2 stores you'll find these as well. And you want to cut off a piece which is just shorter than 2 inches. Bit of hot glue gun in the bottom of the box, and then just sit this in there. The hot glue gun just helps it to grab and doesn't make it move so much. And then what we then do is literally poke the flowers in. But before we poke the flowers in, what we need to make is this kind of, I'm not sure you can see here, these little strips of paper that have been curled. And it's simply a case of cutting off some strips, fairly thin. Just cut off a load of strips. They don't even have to be exactly the same size, so you do quite a few more than this. And then with your bone folder or a pencil or something, you're going to fold one way, half, and then half. Oops, that's broke, but we'll still use that. The other way. So we're going to do one way, one the other. So you get a kind of better curls. And you continue to do that until you think you've got enough. You don't need heaps. This one is breaking simply because this is the scored piece of paper, but it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter at all if they're broken. And then you're going to get all this and sit it on top of your oasis, your floral foam, which is in your box. And then the last thing you do is you start to just poke in your flowers, cutting off your bamboo skewers so you've got the arrangement looking pretty and at the kind of right height. So that's how my arrangement is. You know, you don't have to go crazy and do as many floral flowers. I enjoyed doing this. I always have the Food Network channel on the background because I love cooking, and I was just making loads of these. Just for those in Aussie as well, look at the Chef's Line that's on TV on SBS at the moment. I'm actually going to be on that show in the French week. I love cooking, so it'll be a bit of fun to see me making maybe one or two crazy mistakes, but let's see what happens. So that's coming up in about 3 or 4 weeks' time. So this is my beautiful floral box, and I'm sure, and actually I know people love to receive these. They really do brighten up my friends' days when I actually present them with one of these. As I was saying, if you don't want to do so many flowers, you could just do one flower. But instead of starting off with a 12-inch by 12-inch piece of paper, start off with a smaller bit. Start off with a 6 by 6 and score that at 2 inches and 4 inches. Then you'll get a smaller box and you could put one beautiful flower in there, tie lots of ribbons around it, and it will be just as gorgeous. And did you notice I have this lovely little just for you saying, which I got from the paper pad, and that just sits in there, and I think that's just perfect. So that's my everlasting floral bouquet, which I hope you enjoyed. So don't forget to check out my blog and subscribe to my YouTube channel if you haven't already. There's over 50 videos there on lots of cards and beautiful projects. And if you hop over to the Kaisercraft blog as well, there's always amazing projects that the design team create for you there. My name's Collette. Thank you for checking in. I'll see you next time. Bye for now.